worth the pain.
So usually a lot of people wonder what it kind of takes to play in around Diamond 3, Diamond 2 Elo. And I think I chose this game to kind of go through because I really thought it illustrated like a lot of concepts that you need in order to play at this Elo. So let's see. The first thing that you do when you get into a game is you look at your comp and you look at your win condition, and you look at what you want to do in lane, and what you want to do in the late game, and what you want to play for also late game. So as you can see, you got Thresh and Jhin. It's a catch lane with some CC, and they have Ashe Zyra. Now pre-6, ideally, you would win assuming Thresh can hit the ability that gives you a catch. And post-6, Zyra and Ashe are a lot stronger because of their disengage and their ability to engage on a gank and whatnot. So ideally what I'm trying to do and look for in the early game is basically to get an early advantage and then try to turn that possibly into either like a tower or a dragon or something that can help us kind of carry a gold lead somewhere. If you look at our mid lane and our top lane, basically they're up against Quinn and Renekton. Ideally, what they're trying to do is essentially survive the laning phase and get to a point where they can outscale their laner with items. Quinn and Renekton will basically be able to win their lane easily, and so they'll have the ability to go roam and help their team out. And that basically means that throughout the game you can expect that we're probably going to lose maybe a Rift Herald, maybe a Dragon. We're maybe going to lose some jungle camps or something because the mid will roam with the enemy jungler. You can expect that in the early game you're going to have to concede a lot of objectives. And in the late game, assuming that our team didn't, feed the game away, then maybe there's a chance where we can outscale and somehow start contesting things such as Baron or maybe 3rd or 4th Drake. So that's basically the win condition is, for our team it's to scale, and for us it's to, as our bot laner, it's to not die and maybe get a gold lead. See if we can get a gold lead with a catch, and maybe help to extend the game for our 2 solo laners. So here we got level 2. Thresh hits a nice follow-up on Ashe. I follow up with W, and we pretty much run away with a kill. That's pretty much a classic. When this... Hold on here. So it takes a wave and 3 warrior minions to hit level 2. So, when this minion hasn't even died yet, but Thresh knows this already. That's why he's walking up. So as soon as this minion dies, he hits level 2. They hit level 2 as well, but in this position that they're in, it's extremely bad. Like, yes, EP is strong if you can poke them down, but in a catch lane, if you can actually catch them in your full HP, you win 99.9% of the time. So we get a nice kill, and we're able to walk away with first blood gold. Maybe I was trying to see if Zyra would, maybe continue autoing me. I can pop heal. Maybe we might get a double kill, but she doesn't buy it, so it's okay though. We got the gold. So yeah, let's maybe speed up. We're gonna push this wave in to reset the minions. Basically, when you get a kill, you ideally want to push, assuming that the jungler isn't here. Yeah, you ideally want to push this in. And the reason why I didn't just leave is because I knew Graves started red. And you can tell if a jungler starts red or not by looking at how late the laners come to lane. So if you can pause the video and go over it again, you'll see that like when the game starts, Grave starts red, right? And their bottom comes to lane late. Okay, so yeah, top's kind of just chilling here, and bottom comes to lane late. So you know that Grave starts red, and if he doesn't cheese you level 2, which you can sometimes, it kind of depends on what people are doing. If you're really worried about an early cheese, you can maybe place a ward here. But for the most part, since he didn't come like immediately after he took his red, I know he's gonna path blue, and he's gonna top, or else Kha'Zix would probably counter jungle him if he did some other route. So that's why I know I can push this wave in later, because I know he's top. Okay, so when you come back to lane, you'll notice like I bought a pickaxe with my first blood gold, and that puts me at an extreme advantage in lane. Assuming that mid has prio, which they obviously won't because he's Kassadin, but this whenever you get this extreme lead as a bot laner, you can basically get prio very easily. It's not like, obviously if you're mid and if your jungler's on the opposite side of the map and your mid laner's maybe in base, then obviously you can't contest drag like 2v4, but still it gives you a significant advantage. Here, I mean, this is a big no-no, and this is what high elo players will do to people who mess up all the time. The wave, you'll push it in, it'll ping pong back, and then the jungler and the support will, or even you know, the jungler will basically know that the AD carry doesn't have flash. And if you play AD carry, you'll like, it's in high elo, like if you don't have flash and heal and you're pushed up like this, you're basically like asking the jungler to come gank your lane. And it's even more dangerous because of like their what they're actually playing bot. Like we have catch and they have like kind of like poke trade. Like they have catch as well with Zyra, but it's like Thresh is a stronger catch than Zyra, especially pre-6. So the fact that they're pushing up this far, and I have a pickaxe, makes this a very volatile gank. Okay, I take the lantern. So why don't you go for Zyra? Well, we go for Ashe because she has no sums, and it's the freest kill we can get. So I mean, I go for the auto on Ashe, but you know, maybe I could play this a tiny bit cleaner, but it doesn't matter. I mean, finish the guy who you're going for, and then you want to focus one guy on a gank. That's your main priority. It'd be tragic if Ashe got away with, you know, somehow something stupid. So, you know, finish the one guy and then try to turn on the other. Okay, so at this point in the game, we're still keeping our main win condition in mind, which is to basically like, we basically want to use our advantage to buy time for our solo laners. Because once they get online, the game's essentially over. So yeah, yada yada, we come back to lane, sure. Okay, cool, whatever. You notice that like Thresh is roaming because we have prio and he's trying to make things happen. And if you can't, that's fine, but if you have prio as a support, you should probably be looking for what you can do on the map, whether that be invading the enemy jungle with your jungler or looking for something mid. Like, if you're playing mid and your bot is losing, one of the things that you really want to look for is like who's MIA on the map, because a lot of the times the first thing that a support will do when they recall is go straight down here, right? The classic lane gank through here or something like that. So basically, like, it's not like, I don't know, maybe in low elo it's like you know, people kind of tunnel vision through their lane, but in high elo, like if you get an advantage, it often affects other lanes. So, you know, bot gets an advantage. Okay, maybe we have more pressure on drag. Bot gets an advantage. Support can roam mid, right? And it's the same thing in other lanes, where top gets an advantage, they can take Rift Herald. Mid takes an advantage, they can get, you know, Rift Herald and Dragon. So it's about getting an advantage and taking baby steps to build up pressure to get objectives. So if you look here, Renekton built up a nice huge wave when Dragon spawned. And that's actually really smart of him, because Kassadin's not 6 yet, so his champion's relatively weak, especially versus Renekton, who's like a huge early game bully. And so what they're trying to do with this is trying to shove Kassadin in. If you notice, I'm kind of dealing with minions as well, and so this sets the enemy team up with a perfect opportunity to take Dragon. And that's what we do. Basically, you try to look for what you can do. Right? Roaming is fine, but committing is what is a huge mistake. So if you feel like, oh, my team might need me, personally as an ADC, as long as a big wave's not crashing your tower, I feel like it's fine to miss maybe a couple minions to go and see if there is an opportunity. But clearly, you know, if you need 5 seconds, or like if you need like 2 seconds to look at the map and make a decision, and it's not like some crucial time, then it's fine, right? So here I walk up, I see Kassadin's mid. They're already doing the dragon, and they have, basically they're grouped. Like, when you're approaching the dragon pit as like 2 and 2, it's very unfavorable, because all 4 can just dump all their spells and abilities in one direction, and then it's essentially like a 2v4 with a post 2v4, right? So, you know, we see, you know, people are dealing with minions. It's obviously not a good time, so, and, you know, if you look at our lane condition, or our win condition, right, you'd see that we just want to stall the game out. So giving Dragon is bad, yes, but giving Dragon and 4 kills would essentially be like extremely bad, like game over, right? So, you know, it's kind of like a trade-off. Like, you want to play Kassadin and Aatrox, right? You might have to concede some things early in order to get to late game. It's just a matter of how much can I concede, right? There's a point at which, like, you can't concede a certain objective, or else it becomes like the game is over. Like, you can't concede Baron, for instance, at 20 minutes. They can't be like 15 kills over and you concede Baron. But this is fine, right? And even some people are like, oh, it's Infernal Dragon. Oh, you have to go for it. Like, yes, it's Infernal. It's a big objective, but it's not GG, right? We just need to buy time for our teammates. So sure, they take the dragon, yada yada yada. And we go back to lane. So yada yada yada, we farm. Okay, so another thing that's important is Ash and I just got flashback. So that means, like, me coming up like this is actually fine. So usually, like, you really don't want to be past like this point if you don't have vision. So usually if you dump a huge wave into them, it's time for you to go get vision. But you know, if I had vision here and I wanted to go and push the tower, you know, it's an option because I have flash. If you don't have flash, you can't push without flash. That's a big no-no. So as you can see, okay, so what happened there? So you go, so Ash. So okay, this is actually really important, because this actually happens a lot, and if you don't know when to do this, you can actually end up dead. So when do we decide to contest this, right? When's a good time to actually contest this? So basically, if you're going to contest this brush for vision, right? Essentially, you need to look at their champions, and you need to look at their summoner spells, and you need to understand that, and you need flash. Okay, so the first thing we notice is like Quinn is top. We see her. Renekton's mid, so we have vision on these two solo laners, and also they don't have teleport, so it's not like they can teleport in and force a 3v2 or a 4v2 or something like that. So we have vision, we know where they are, so it's fine. Second thing is he's playing Graves, so yeah, Graves has a lot of damage, but he doesn't really have a lot of lockdown CC. So yeah, worst case scenario, if I walk up and he's here, I just walk away, and if he flashes on me, I flash out. So it's doable. What about their bot lane? They're busy dealing with minions, and Ashe is not level 6 yet. So the fact that they're dealing with minions, they're preoccupied, means I can contest this brush, right? If they have to teleport up, if you don't have flash, if they have an ability like Ashe level 6, you can't touch this brush. You need either like some sort of advantage. You need your jungler. You need mana advantage, right? You need like a reason to contest this brush, right? And because I have the criteria to contest, I can walk up. So let's see. Okay, surprise, Graves is here. So okay, what do? I gotta back off, right? And it's fine, right? Otherwise, if he was top or something like that, then I could have easily shot down this ward with Thresh. Thresh could lantern me out, and we'd get contested on vision. Okay, so I mean, here's an interesting play. So I think me and Thresh can kill him because it's a 2v1 and it's fine. You know, there's a couple things here. So you have their bot lane running up, right? Which is a little bit iffy, right? Because you definitely don't want to fight a 3v2. But you also don't want to, you know, not take a free kill, right? Like we're literally on him with vision. So I mean, if we can somehow like get him over the wall, right? Like kind of fight here, then that's ideal. But if we're fighting like here, where Zyra can, you know, hit us with her shit, then obviously it's not ideal. So my Thresh tries to play, Graves backs off. It's like you know, swing and a miss, it's fine, right? So we continue laning, and also I mean, yeah, he's not gonna dive me, so he's just providing pressure. Yada yada. Continue. Okay, so here's interesting. Okay, so Graves shows bot, doesn't get anything. What does my jungler do? Rift Herald, right? So whenever you and Graves is doing blue, but basically like if you're a jungler and you see the jungler on the other side of the map and there's a free objective up, it's essentially free, right? You look at like what's going on, and you have Conceding pushing in mid. So if he needs help, Conceding can go help because he has prio. See top, same thing. Top is pushing in, and top and the Quinn just got there, so she has to deal with minions. So both solo lanes have to deal with minions. Graves was just bought as a perfect time to take Rift Herald, and it doesn't matter. Like he doesn't need help because he can solo it. So basically, if your lanes have prio, and the jungler is on the opposite side of the map, right? You can take whatever objectives on the opposite side of the map. So for instance, if you're the jungler and you see that both your lanes have, both your mid and both your bot have prio, and you see the enemy jungler is top, then you can go ahead and take Dragon. If in this case, well, what happened here was, okay, if Graves is bot and our mid and our top have prio, then okay, we can take Rift Herald, which is what my jungler did. Okay, so what happened here? So realistically, you should have just got it and backed off. Unfortunately, he went to go contest this crab, and he ends up dying. Okay, so a few things, right? A few things. What happened this play? Why was it wrong? Okay, so first of all, he was trying to contest the crab, and he got destroyed by all 3 of them. So one can say, okay, Cassidy, why don't you come? You're level 6. No. Remember, what's our win condition? Our win condition is to scale, right? This side of the map, this whole side of the map, needs to scale, right? And take objectives when they can, right? When it's possible, right? But, you know, and concede things when, you know, they're not in our favor. So here, this crab, obviously, it's not in our favor. It's a 3v kind of 2 scenario. And honestly, the Cassidy took the right call and just shoved mid, because you really don't want to be taking fights at a point where you should be scaling. Like, this is a scaling comp. They need to play back. If anything, if you look at this comp, they need to win early. They want to take these fights, right? If you give them these fights, right, that's what they want. So, I mean, here it's 1 crab for 100 gold versus 2 kills, which is potentially disastrous, right? So remember, play to your win condition. If you gotta concede things, then concede them, right? So yada yada yada. I'm back down here. Okay. Okay, so we try a gank. Doesn't work out, but we trade flash for flash. Okay, and now we see the second dragon coming up. And then once again, we're in a position where, yeah, maybe our bot wins, but our jungler and our mid don't. Especially after that fight here. So, what do you do when a fight is doomed from the start? You concede, once again, right? And it sucks, because now it's 2 dragons, but, you know, the dragon's already there. It's like, you have to understand that this dragon, it already belongs to them. You cannot do anything that would result in something positive at this point, right? You can argue, oh, well, Kha'Zix can flash in and take the dragon. Oh, no, but, like, we can... No. Look at your win condition, right? It's, once again, you concede things when you have to, and you play for your win condition. So we don't want to give them any more gold, right? So at this point, just let them have the dragon. Yada yada yada, we farm. Sure. Okay. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward, but you should, when you're playing AD carry, right? Ideally what you want to do before you even get into lane, which I knew at the time, but as a tip for lower elo players, you want to know what an interaction looks like between your 2 champions, right? So, for instance, right? So Thresh lands a hook immediately. You shouldn't be reacting. You should already know what to do. So at this point, it's like hook, like tug, W, and then I know she has rocket. I know she has arrow. So I have flash to counter arrow, and I also have flash to counter Zyra E, right? So if you know that she has arrow, and you know that you can kill her, then you can, you know, you can basically already have a plan to deal with what they might do, right? Because if she arrowed me to the face and then, I don't know, maybe did something, right? Maybe it wouldn't have worked out as well, right? If I played it really sloppy, then it wouldn't have worked. But yeah, for the most part, hit him with the CC, flash, right? Doesn't hit me with the arrow, right? See, if she hit me with arrow and maybe Zyra hit her combo, maybe I would have died. But if you know what's coming for you, then you can react, right? So, okay, whatever. If I was... could have played it a little bit more cleanly, but it's fine. And now Kha'Zix with Rift Herald can push. Okay, so you might notice something. Why doesn't Kha'Zix use Rift Herald right away? Well, it's because as the tower gets lower, its armor goes up. So what we want to do is we want to get it maybe to this point and use the Rift Herald to like nuke the tower when it has high resistances. So yeah, we take the tower, easy peasy. Also, here's something interesting, right? So look what's happening here. Right? This is why it's important to know what the enemy team has, so that you're not startled by, I guess, unexpected or stupid things that happen. Like, you know, if the enemy team has a Scion or something like that, then you would expect, like, he might, if he's MIA, run down bot and try to ult you, right? And it's the same thing for Quinn, right? So, you know, don't be a dumbass and, like, try to, like, take the second tower or, like, try to fight Ashe here or anything. Like, we're not going to do that. We're just going to back off. We're going to play it safe. We're going to play it conservative. Because, you know, the conservative play is usually 9 times out of 10, right? So, yeah, Thresh dies. Unfortunate. But we're going to be smart and we're not going to die.
Turret plating will soon fall.
And we get away. Okay, cool. Whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. Mid died or something like that. They're taking mid. Okay, so now this is the mid game, right? Because the map is opening up, right? So, once again, right? What do we do at this point in the game to make sure that we are reaching our win condition, right? So, this is an open lane, right? It's, you know, it has protection and it's also open. So at this point, I told my Conceding, hey, why don't you take bot, because you get a whole solo lane to farm, right? And if somebody tries to catch you, you can just R out, right? And I can sit mid and react to whatever we need to with my lead. So if you have a solo laner that is having a tough time, right? Then usually like Jhin is good with farm, but Conceding is better. So if you want to, you know, our plan is to reach our win condition. You want this guy to get, like, you know, Seraph's Embrace and, like, whatever else, like, items that make him, like, super strong, like Zanya's Lichbane, Rabcat, Void Staff, whatever cast builds, right? So you want him to get gold, right? So if you send him bot, it's not a bad idea. So, you know. Basically, as our team, right, the great thing about our team is we don't have to do anything. We don't have to force anything. We don't have to tower dive. We don't have to play stupid, right? All we have to do is just farm, right? Because their teams are taking time bomb because they literally have to start forcing stuff now. It's only 5-4. Yada, thresholds of hook. Okay, Rift Herald comes up. Okay, so they catch Renekton, and okay, so right, so you see the enemy team on the other side of the map. What does the enemy team do? They go take an objective, right? So basically, it's fine to push mid. So they have Rift Herald spawning, hitting top. Okay, so basically, like, in this situation, you know, because something's happening on top side of the map, you want to do something bot. So we say, okay, we're gonna go for Ocean. So getting here first allows us to do a really important thing, which is get vision near the objective, right? Because if the enemy team doesn't have vision, then they don't know where we're engaging from, right? And it also allows us to set up a nice initiate. So that's one thing. If you guys are having a even game or you don't know what to do, wait for an objective to spawn, which is something you can fight over, and get vision, right? So I thought I could hit the W and then maybe catch Zyra out. Doesn't end up happening. Unfortunate. Okay. So, what happens? We catch Zyra. Okay, so Zyra's dead. 5v4. Whenever you have a man advantage like this, 5v4, yes, they got dragon, but you should be like trying to force 5v4 because nothing will get you ahead in the game faster than taking a 5v4, especially if it's even, and you know, it's just if you have a numbers advantage and you know it's more or less even game, take the fight because that'll probably break the stalemate. Right. Okay, so our Kha'Zix dies. It's a 4v4 now. And our team makes the mistake of tunneling down for Ashe. And we die. Okay, so what happened? What happened, guys? I thought it was free, right? Okay, well, obviously, if a 5v4 turns into a 4v4, obviously it's a red flag. And if your initiate tunnels onto one person and your backline gets initiated on, then it's also a red flag. So yeah, a few things should happen. The Aatrox shouldn't have kind of tunneled and ran it down, and our Kha'Zix could have played it a little bit better, but because our team was committed, we couldn't really do anything. The idea was correct, but we just didn't execute it properly. So now, okay, it's 10-7. They have 3 dragons, and now, you know, if it's typical NA solo queue, your team's shouting GG, FF, get me out, right? But this is where having strong mental comes in, because if you know that you're once again, your win condition is to outscale, then, you know, play for it, right? Because, you know, if League was like a game where everybody played perfectly, then, you know, you would win games straight at Champion Select. But people make mistakes, right? People fuck up, right? And you can basically bet on that, even in high elo. Even in D3, D2, hell, even in Challenger, people mess up all the time. And when they do, you can capitalize on it. So now this is where the game gets extremely iffy, because Baron is spawning soon, and 4th Drake is spawning soon, and essentially this is the point of the game where the game is decided, because if the enemy team were to take Baron and 4th Drake, unless they, you know, somehow feed us 5 kills and tower dive or do something really, really stupid, the game is essentially theirs, right? A lot of the times, the person who takes Baron usually, you know, if they take Baron, they have an extremely good shot at winning the game. So Baron is an objective that you have to contest. By 20 minutes, you have to contest Baron, usually. In this case, we have to contest Baron. So here, basically, what everybody's trying to do is they're like trying to like ward, set up wards, right? It's like, it's the vision game, right? Because Dude, if nobody's gonna fight if there's nothing to fight over, right? But if there's something to fight over, then obviously there's a lot to, you know, if there's something to fight over, you can set up for it to increase the chances of you catching somebody out. So let's see. Keep going, keep going. Yada yada yada. So yeah, once again, we're kind of just farming our jungle camps, killing time, waiting for something to fight over. Okay, so... Whoa, 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 okay. Right, so this is why vision's important, because you can easily take fights and get turn a game around by using vision to catch somebody out, like I said. So get a nice pick on Graves. Okay, so sure. And also while that's happening, I'm top, right? So I'm defending the tower. Let's see what happens. Okay, so also I should probably talk about builds. Actually, okay, so before I talk about this play, let's talk about builds. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk to you about is item optimization. So, for instance, when you're playing AD carry, obviously it's a no-brainer that you build damage, but it's important to realize that in certain situations, going full glass cannon is always not the optimal situation. If they have a champion that is a danger to you, right? You ask yourself these three questions. Can I wait out the champion's ability in a fight? Okay, so what does that look like? So it looks like something like, let's say you're versing Malphite, right? And Malphite has ult up, right? You can wait before you start auto-attacking to actually start autoing the first person in the fight, right? So, okay, we're going to wait. We're not going to auto anybody. We're going to stay in the back. Oh, Malphite uses ult. Okay, we can auto. So that's, can I wait out this ability, spell, or champion, right? The second criteria is, can I tank the ability, spell, champion? Can it just hit you and you're okay, right? And the third one is, can I dodge the ability, spell, champion, right? So do I have flash to counter the ability? Or can I don't know, run away really quick with some with boots or something like that, right? Can you physically dodge the ability, like dodge a binding or something like that? If you answer no to all three of these criteria, you have to build defensively, right? So something that basically you can't dodge, you can't tank, and you can't wait out. You can't wait it out is something like Rengar, right? So you're in a team fight, you're just chilling, and then all of a sudden, oh, surprise, he kills you, right? And, you know, we've all seen it before. The Fed Rengar, the triple, quadruple lethality items just jumps on you 100 to 0, you're dead, right? In that situation, building glass cannon is not optimal because all the gold that you're building isn't getting used. So in a dream world, the Rengar would like jump on your tank and you'd be completely safe, and then you'd have enough damage to basically clean up the whole fight. But 10 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. That's like a delusion, right? The assassin's always going to go for the squishy people. So in order to counter their play, you have to build defensively. Some of the ways that you can build defensively are buying items such as Guardian Angel into Rengar Talon or Zed, or you could build items like Maw into AP assassins such as Evelyn. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so if you play Jhin and you have summoner spells, know that you can do this little trick all the time, right? And also, if you have a tower and you feel like you're more or less like even, don't be afraid to be like, okay, I can, if they dive me, I can do this, right? So I mean, Jhin as a champion, he really isn't that good at 1v1. He really isn't good at like just running at people, but he's good at comboing CC with other supports. He's good at trading, and he is really good at turning with his ult, right? That's one quality that Jhin is really, really good. So if you're iffy on kind of how to 1v1 someone as Jhin, this is more or less how you do it. If you're more or less even, right? Throw your combo 4th shot Q at them, and then back off with summoner spells, and then hit him with the ult, right? It gets him every time. So at this point, you know, when people are dead, right, you don't go AFK ARAM, you go take an objective. Yeah, we get a little... So yeah, I mean, this is Graves just running it down. So yeah, Graves runs it down, Ashe runs it down, and when you kill the jungler, and you kill their AD carry, then you have a pretty good shot at taking Baron. So we're gonna do Baron. Honestly, yeah, you'll notice I bought a pink ward. You should always be buying vision if you have money for it. Right, so at this point, if you're the enemy team, it's basically like you can't approach the pit. Like there's no way you can steal this. Like absolutely no way. You don't have a jungler, you don't have smite, you're not going to be able to get past our team. You don't have vision. It's impossible. So they're just kind of dying. You recall. Okay, and the first thing you want to do when you have Baron is you want to pick a lane and you want to siege with minions. Okay, because you don't have to hit the tower, but you can just let your minions damage the tower and slowly whittle it down. So we see, so before you take a fight, you look at the map and you go, where's our team? So we see 2 top, right? And then we see Ashe's spot. And I see our whole team's here, and I have my support to peel me, right? And I have all this, you know, stopwatch, chain vest, like all this protective gear, basically, that I'm eventually going to build into GA. But you know, I don't think he kills me here. So we say, okay, let's force. Let's try to get a pick and force something. So sure, we get the Zyra. Renekton's low, so he has to back. One of our team has to back here. And we push down mid. Yada yada. So here, Kassadin's able to get a pick. So basically once again, you play the vision game, and yeah, they got caught. We've basically outscaled their team at this point. We have a huge gold lead, and at this point, it's basically just us kind of running it down. We take the next dragon, we go mid, we take mid inhib, right, and then that's the game. So hopefully throughout this video I've explained concepts that I feel are really important. A lot of them were macro and some were micro for AD carry. So yeah, hopefully you can use some of these concepts in lower elo games and make better macro decisions based off of things like win condition, champion, summoner spells, teleport, I don't know, just stuff in general like that. And I'll play the rest of the video to see us, you know, sieging it down, but for the most part you guys get the idea. By now it's basically GG, so hopefully you guys learned something by now.
Red team double kill.